Okay, I'm just warning everybody, the sun is brutal today, you can barely see, and the wind is going to be a factor, both with sound and with my hair. So bear with me here. Good morning, Ithaca. This is Gourdlandia. I'm JD Isles, and of course, this is Hidden Landmarks Live. This is the live history show that I do every Friday at 9 a.m. It is the only live history show on Facebook. Today I'm at Gourdlandia. Now, Gourdlandia is a fascinating place, which is why I wanted to do a story on it for a really long time. Just got around to it. My wife Christine and I kind of discovered Gourdlandia by accident. We were staying up at the Braylock Inn in Cazenovia, New York, and we stayed on a really rainy weekend. I mean, we basically needed snorkels even to go for a walk. Don't get me wrong, we had a great time. We always have a great time at the Braylock Inn. But we got to the end of the weekend, and aside from eating steak pie and drinking whiskey, we really hadn't done anything. So I said, I want to find something to do. So I got out a map, and Gourdlandia in Ithaca kind of jumped off the map for me. And, initially I thought I discovered a amusement park that was squash and pumpkin themed. Not so. What I happened upon was one of the most quaint, interesting places that I've seen. A very unique tourist attraction. So what is Gourdlandia? It's hard to kind of put your finger on it. It is an educational center about gourds, of course. It is an artist's studio, and it's also a place where you can do hands-on crafts. So I want to jump around here. So, this is the studio, and it's also the showroom, and it's where you come to do the crafts. Where are we right now? We are at 77 Rachel. Whoop, I told you the wind would be a factor. We're at 77 Rachel Carson Way in Ithaca. Here's what the studio looks like. We are directly across from Ithaca's Eco Village. The Eco Village here, this is Tree. The Eco Village is a community with more than 200 residents committed to cutting their environmental footprint by 70%. Let's flip this back around, and I'm trying to... Boy, the wind is a factor today. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Now, two of the Eco Village's residents, Graham and Otto Ottoson, founded Gourdlandia in 2014. And coming inside, getting out of the cold, it's like 20 degrees. It's like 20 degrees today. Coming inside, this is what you see. This is the studio where Graham has a wide variety of things for sale, and to a limited degree, the things she has for sale are also things you can come and make. So we have a wide variety of baskets, containers. Here's a planter. We have some creatures here and there. Nothing scary, mostly adorable. And we have lamps. And Graham is extremely well known for her lamps. And I also know, because I pay attention, a lot of people in the Eco Village have these lamps in their homes. And when I was doing the pre-interview with Graham, there was actually a woman here, I don't think from the villages, from the eco-village, but there was a woman planning out what she was going to be doing as her lamp craft. Now, this structure was specifically built for this purpose. It was built by Otto, Graham's husband, and as I said, this is a specific purpose-built studio, and it's just a fantastic space. And this is the space where you would come to work on the crafts. I love a craft. One of the great things about, when you have out-of-town guests, it's always the question of, what do I do with my out-of-town guests? What do I do with the mother-in-law or father-in-law that does much better if we have to talk less? We all have those relatives. A craft solves all of that. I've sat at this very table and made Christmas ornaments. I've sat at this very table and made night lights and learned quite a bit about gourds at the same time. Now, there are a wide variety of crafts you can do. Some of them are just drop-in. So, for example, my first gourd craft exposure was doing a nightlight, and you can drop in and do a nightlight for $40. You can do a necklace for $10. You can do lamps, of course. You can do a variety of boxes and baskets. So check their website. I'll make sure there's a link somewhere. Check their website and you can see what the current programs are. Gourdlandia is normally open Monday mornings from 9 to 1 and Fridays and Saturdays from 1 to 5. And, the other big thing is, okay, so why gourds? And Graham's going to answer specifically why she works in gourds. But one of the interesting things about gourds is, in many cases, as far as food storage is concerned, it predates pottery. There's evidence of people using gourds as long ago as 10,000 years. And the bottle gourd, which is the kind of gourds that we're seeing here just about everywhere, the bottle gourd was native initially to Asia and kind of found its way over here. Pumpkins and squashes are native to the Americas. They're primarily, obviously, a food resource, but bottle gourds, not so tasty. So they were kind of bred over time to be water containers, grain containers, and that kind of thing. So now we're going to go over and meet the artist and proprietor, Graham. So I'm going to flip the camera around. Okay. Graham, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Okay, so how did this get so specialized to gourds?
Gourds captured my attention about 20 years ago now. It was just kind of a roadside happening. But before I met gourds, I was a dabbler from the time I was a little kid in everything. And when I met gourds, it felt like all the skills that I had accumulated in years of dabbling in different media, all coalesced on the board. You can do so much with boards.
Right.
Including growing them in the garden.
Right. So I'm just going to show here really quickly. Now, the exterior of these gourds are beautiful, but they're not initially beautiful.
They don't set out that.
Yeah, so let's go look at what that looks like, because mold is a factor.
Well, right, that's true. And I like to explain to everybody who comes to Gourdlandia that gourds do go through this, I call it their awkward phase. So this is a gourd that's dry. You can hear a big seed clump rattling in there. Before it dried in the fall, it would have been maybe 10 pounds or so, heavy, and green, and then all winter long the water just goes out through the shell and makes that, so the skin is constantly getting moldy because it's constantly wet. It freezes, it thaws, it doesn't matter, but the skin gets moldy. And if you're a first-time gourd grower and you're not aware of this, you might start to lose faith. You might think, oh, what did I do wrong? But really, this gourd just needs a bath. So the difference between this gourd and this one is just that this one's been washed. So, and this modeling, this beautiful marking on the gourd, that's where the moldy skin stained it.
Right. It almost looks like burled wood.
Yeah. Like that. So I just use a scrubby like that, like a pot scrubber, and soak the gourd first, which is a little tricky because they float. But I've got methods, and then once it's been soaking for a while, you can just wash that skin off really easily.
All right. So what's inside?
What's inside? There's seeds and all kinds of stuff. So you want to see that?
Yeah.
So this is a Martin House gourd, and it's been washed, but also I've added a stain and a wax to shine it up. And I've got this little saw, which is actually called a gourd saw. Now I'd usually be wearing a mask. So I'm just going to pry that up so you can see exactly what is inside. Check that out.
Oh, all right.
So it's like in a pumpkin, but it's all dried out. So this is going to become a bowl, like with a pine needle rim around it. But then the leftover piece that I just cut off, I don't like to throw anything away after.
Right.
So that'll become, a nightlight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and can you show real quick how you do the carving?
Sure. There's so much, like I was saying, there's so much that you can do with gourds. You can burn on them, carve them, paint. A lot of people just paint on them. I always like to open them up, but here's the one thing.
All right, and people can come and do this.
People can come and do this.
All right.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
There's classes on my website. You can
Okay.
read about them.
All right, great. Graham, thank you so much for letting me come and visit you today.
So happy that you came.
Thank you so much. And like I said, if you've never been here, and I've said Gourdlandia to a lot of people over the last week, and they kind of looked, the look on their face said that they have not been here. This is a great place to come and visit. This is a great place to bring out-of-town visitors. Even if you remotely live near Ithaca, this is a fantastic stop. This is one of those things that really does qualify as a hidden landmark. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is J.D. Isles, Hidden Landmarks. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.